All right. Welcome back, folks, to the FF Face-Off. This is a fantasy football podcast, and today we are coming at you with taking on Week 8. Any start-sit questions you have, any trade questions you have, any pickups you might have, drop us a line. We'll help you out. That's what we're here for today. Also, feel free to go to fffaceoff.com for all of your fantasy football, NFL sports betting needs. And also follow the show on X at FF Faceoff. My name is Michael Hoff. You can follow me on X at the FF Realist. We got a full house today, a rarity. Good times. The four horsemen are here. Here is Mr. Steve D'Angelo, who can be followed at Fantasy Savvy. Steve, I will probably not watch a single pitch of the World Series because my heart still hurts, but I wish you the best of luck in a way, except I hope you lose. But how's it going, man?
Wait, I thought you said you were going to root for the Yankees.
Yeah, I changed my mind. Just like a typical heel, I changed my mind.
I mean, it's still baseball, man, and this is going to be a hell of a World Series.
I'll watch
you got to watch it. I mean, this is 1981 was the last time these two teams played. The Dodgers didn't win the year before I was born. So obviously fired up for the Yankees. Sorry to your Mets and Pete's Phillies and Anthony's soccer teams, but the Yankees are in the World Series.
Hey, my soccer team's in first place.
Well, there you go. But it's great to have all four of us back. It's been a little while. I mean, I don't know how long, maybe 2 months. So, yeah, let's get into it. Got another huge week of fantasy football upcoming.
Also joining us is the ever wonderful 2 R's in his handle. I say it every time. His name is Pete Nova. He can be followed at Supernova38. Petey, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on? Just you guys triggered my mind to make sure I have a 50% boost on FanDuel for, I think 30% boost for the baseball game tonight. So trying to get something in while we're live here, but yeah, ready to roll. And let's do this. Friday. Here we go.
Yeah. And last but not least, the godfather of the program, the ever wonderful, the ever handsome, the ever sometimes charming, yells at us when we talk about baseball. So I'm surprised he hasn't blown a gasket yet. His name is Anthony Savino. He can be followed the real NFL guru. Anthony, sweetheart, how is by you?
Doing good. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Sometimes when I sneeze, that's what your soccer teams sound like. So, but I look forward to it. Let's do it. All right.
Yeah,
we did have I don't know. We did have a super chat that came in just before we went on the air. So I'm going to bring that up first. Vic, friend of the show, of course, he said, "Sup, fellas? Help with a lineup. Mostert, Achane, Rob Jr., Chuba, Hill, Pickens, Marvin Harrison Jr., McMillan, Watson, Shakir." So all those names, he needs 2 RBs, three wide receivers, and 1 flex. He has Bowers, who's going to bury Dallas Goedert, Anthony, and he also has Jared Goff. Anthony, I'll go to you first, actually. If you have to pick from here, where are you going here?
So, need 2 running back, 3 receivers, and a flex.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Achane. I'm going B-Rob. I'm going Tyreek. I'm going Pickens. And it's close between Chuba and McMillan. You know what? I would probably go McMillan because we got Deontay Johnson out. I think Leggette's out. Danny Dalton's out. So it's going to be a lot of Chuba Hubbard. I think he's just going to face a lot of stack boxes.
Now, did you pick 3 wide receivers in the flex? You picked.
Oh, he needs 3 receivers.
Yeah. So
okay, so the third receiver would be McMillan. I guess the flex, I would go with Chuba. Reluctantly, Chuba.
I mean, that's literally where I was going to go. So I don't even need to answer. Steve, where would you go there?
Yeah, I like Achane and B-Rob. Those two definitely at running back. Definitely Pickens. Return of Tua. Hill is very, very giddy now. There's some questions he may not play in this game. Tyreek. That's what I heard. McDaniels is expecting him to play, but I guess there's some question. But I expect him to be out there. So Hill and Pickens, and then I love Watson, but he's struggling with that ankle injury still. So he seems like he's a little bit on the mend. We always kind of see this from Watson, where he's always a little bit banged up. It takes him a little while to get fully healthy. Once he gets fully healthy, then he starts to go off. So maybe we don't see that this week. Maybe we go McMillan here in his debut as, trying to be the number one here. But, who is it? Might be Trey Palmer. So I would go with those two. And then if you want to add one more, I guess I'll throw a Watson there. Or
Tyreek is dealing with a foot.
Yeah.
Pete, there is a question for you specifically, but we'll get to that in a second. Just because this is a super chat, did you want to sound off on this? I mean, my takes go right along with Anthony's. So, what says you here?
So he needs 3 receivers and a flex, 2 running backs. Yeah, I mean, for me, 2 is back. Let's go Achane. I'll go B-Rob as well. I know Chicago's. I'm not starting Chuba against Denver. I don't, even if he's a one-man show out there. So it's probably those 2. I'd probably start Pickens, Hill, and I'm going to start Marv. I like McMillan, but I'm just going to start Marv at this point.
So would you make
get one more too?
Flex then?
Flex, yeah, I would flex McMillan. Yep,
yeah.
I would.
So basically, Watson and Shakir and Mostert are the odd people out for sure here.
Yeah,
for the most part. I will just go to this. Eric did ask you. Anthony's going to get hives here, but Eric did ask you, Pete, off topic. But who do we like in the World Series Game 1 tonight? So,
I don't really have a team that I mean, I would take Yankees just because they have the better pitcher with Cole on the mound. But I do like Juan Soto a lot tonight. It is his birthday, so I think. And Flaherty didn't look good in his last start, so I like the Yankees tonight.
It is also our resident troll's birthday, that being ATL. So I don't think it'll be in the chat, but it's his birthday as well.
Hey, happy birthday, ATL.
Sabrina asks, play 3 of these: Waddle, Kamara, Dobbins, and Swift. If I'm going here, I'm gonna ride that train of Tua being back. That's probably gonna be a recurring theme on this show today. Waddle. I'm going to go Dobbins and Swift here. I'm a little worried about the hand of Kamara. So that's probably where I would go. Steve, I'll go to you first.
I like Dobbins this week. Waddle, even with freaking Tua's out there, he is kind of inconsistent the past couple of years anyway. Kamara, the Saints are a complete shit show right now. I don't know what he's going to bring, but yeah, they just paid him. So maybe he's a little bit rejuvenated in this game. I don't really like the Rattler against the Chargers defense. I think they're going to struggle, but I think I got to throw Kamara in there. And then it's between Swift and Waddle, and I think I got to go with Swift here. So I'll go with the 3 running backs.
Okay. Did anybody else want to chime in on this, or can I get to the next question?
The odd man out for me is Kamara against that Chargers defense.
That was gonna be mine as well.
Yeah. Albert always comes in. No, not Albert. Yep, there he is.
I was just saying,
Eric. Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
I thought that was me. I was like, well, what's going on here?
No,
anyway, okay, we're all good here. Logan McCall. You say tomato, I say tomato. He's on Twitch either way. He said, "What's up, boys? Hope everyone is having a great week. First question I have is wide receivers to start. I have MHJ, so Marvin Harrison Jr., BTJ, which I often think of BTK, so we got to fix that. Tyreek Hill and DJ Moore. I need 2. So, I mean, I'm okay. It's Hill, and for me, I'm going to keep playing BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. I'm going to keep putting him out there. The kid continues to produce. He's doing great. So those are my 2 plays. Anthony, you kind of raise your eyebrows there. Do you disagree? Or
no,
what do you got?
I mean, Hill's the must start. It's the fact that, and I think the must sit. Like, I'm completely out on Marvin Harrison Jr. It's really between DJ Moore and Brian Thomas Jr. and Moore gets the Washington secondary. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. gets Green Bay, and Green Bay has been erasing wide receivers. And I get Brian Thomas Jr. He's been pretty matchup proof so far, but I feel more comfortable, I think, with DJ Moore. Last week, Green Bay held all of Houston. I mean, Stroud had one of his worst fantasy games or NFL games of his career. Tank Dell, 0 catches, I believe. Stephon Diggs, under 10 fantasy points. And a week before that, I think Green Bay minimized the Cardinals, where Harrison, I think, was banged up, but still that entire Cardinals wide receiver room couldn't get anything going. So I'm going to ride the hot hand with Green Bay's defense and go with DJ Moore.
Does anybody else want to chime in there?
Yeah, I think it's between DJ Moore and Brian Thomas Jr. It's very close. It's hard. It's so hard to sit Brian Thomas Jr. He's just been so damn good. I kind of like him in any kind of matchup. We just saw him beat Christian Gonzalez on a nice bomb. That was a great throw by Lawrence too. But I'll go with BTJ here. It's close though.
Pete, you got something?
No, I'm kind of in alignment with the guys.
All right, so we do have a super chat, and we know why he's asking this. I already gave him an answer earlier today via text, but it is his birthday, so we'll bring it up. The Resident Troll, $1.99 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Happy birthday. He said, guys, 49ers, next 5 games, what is their record? Now, I mean, if you all want to answer, you can. If one of you wants, I don't give a shit. I gave him an answer. I told him, I think 3-2. For perspective for you, or just for you guys, for your own knowledge, Niners play Dallas this week. Then they have a bye week. Then it's Tampa, Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo. So not an easy stretch for a team that's not played their best football. I still say 3-2. I think McCaffrey helps out a lot, but if anybody wants to chime in, because it is a super chat after all.
I'm going to say 2-3.
Okay.
I think they got some tough. They got to play the Packers. They got to play the Bills.
It's Dallas bye week, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo.
Let me tell you, if they don't come out 3-2 here, I mean, never mind the next 5 games. At week 14, you get Chicago. You got a healthy Rams team. You go to Miami with that team, and then you got Detroit.
Detroit on my birthday, by the way, so that's gonna
be they need to go 3-2 at a minimum here.
Yeah, I am saying 3-2, but I could see a world where it's 2-3.
Yeah,
Pete, just to help out your boy ATL because he's a fan of yours. Give him something.
Yeah, I would love to say that I think that I don't know. There's something wrong. There's something off about this 49ers team. Obviously, with CMC, if he comes back, that could be the glue that moves things along. But I don't know. I'm not ready to make a prediction on the Niners, but this isn't really probably the most important stretch of their season right now. So I would say 2-3 is probably most likely 3-2, but nothing better, nothing worse than that, in my opinion.
Really quick, Anthony, are we doing a pizza bet in the game?
No.
Pussy.
Why would I bet?
Take the points.
On the Cowboys.
Take the points.
Because you're a Cowboy fan.
But
Mike,
I
give
don't.
Mike, give him
How
6
many times
points.
do I have to tell everybody? I don't mix money and fandom.
Give him 6 points.
I don't
give you
mix
6
the two.
points that help.
No, I'm not touching this game.
My guys are reeling. They look like a bunch of Civil War survivors out
Have
there.
we seen what the Cowboys look
Kittle
like this
definitely
year?
looks like
it just
part
looks,
of Civil War. I always
I'm
said
starting to
Kittle
look
kind of
like it
looks
too.
like a Kittle kind of looks.
I don't mix fandom and business.
All right. Calm down. It'll be okay. Let's get to the next question. Thanks. People got so excited about that. You and I always argue 49ers Cowboys. Now they're finally playing it.
Has any of these pizza bets been paid out yet? By the way, nobody's paid
worry
out
about
any
that.
fucking pizza bets. We gotta start.
I don't know, but you owe me a fucking
I
pizza.
mean,
I know that much.
Do you
I
think
told
that
you. No, we
Skip
split.
and
We're even
Shannon
now.
pay out their due bets?
Who?
If they do, they do at the end of the year.
Well, how many pizzas are we gonna get? Fucking 97 pizzas.
How many cases of due do you think Shannon's owed right now?
Tell the kids, get ready. Get ready.
fucking 17 pizzas in a row.
All right. Dynasty.
Fucking kids
Dynasty is my
breaking out
life.
fucking pimples and shit.
Dynasty is my life comes in with a question here. 12 team super flex. He's a contender. 7-0 with 5 firsts. Jesus. Okay, so you got a lot going on there. I have Goff and Mayfield. I have Lamar in my inbox for 3 firsts. Do I take it? So he's got 5 first rounders. He has Lamar in his inbox for 3 first rounders, but he already has Goff and Mayfield. I mean, unless you have a corresponding move you're going to do right after that to get rid of one of those other quarterbacks, that being Goff or Mayfield. I mean, if you have that in your head set up, then sure.
Yeah.
He's not talking to you, Dynasty is my life. He's probably talking to his dog or his cat. Steve, what says you?
It's
Would you
5
make that
firsts
trade?
and he's 7-0. Wow. I mean, you're fucking
I mean, he's sitting pretty.
You're sitting like George. What's that? George McDuck on that big pile of gold that he's got.
That's called Scrooge McDuck, not
Scrooge
George.
George McDuck.
George, the fuck. Let's give him the most fucking generic name we can.
And look, he's
Anyway.
got the fucking cat from fucking what's the fucking show? I'm fucking getting old. I forget all the shows.
Inspector Gadget? It's
Inspector
the dog.
Gadget.
I got my
I
Pomeranian.
thought he had a cat, Inspector
All
Gadget.
right, well, we got to get Steve his insure soon. But Steve, what are your thoughts on this question?
Steve,
Insure. Oh my god. I mean, you definitely want to get Lamar, but you're 7-0. I mean, you're looking fucking pretty. But yeah, I mean that trade would just make you more dynamite. 3 firsts is a lot. I mean, I would ask maybe for something. I mean, that's a lot. I think, does that equal Lamar? Probably. It's very close. Maybe you get a little bit something extra.
I'll speak for Anthony because Anthony's going to say exactly what I'm thinking right now. I don't deal in like just dynasties, like whatever. I'm playing for this year. So yes, I want to be smart about it, but I'm playing for this year.
So yeah.
But you want to make sure it's a fair deal. Like you want to try to. If you could pull a little bit more from him, then do it. You know,
Steve. He's 7-0. He's a contender, and his top performing quarterback just lost his 2 top receivers. Like I don't care about those first right now. And let's be fair here in a super flex. Yeah, he's a number 1 team, 7-0. Those 3 firsts, let's say Lamar Jackson, he has a good enough team to win the next 2 years, they're fucking late firsts anyway. Who cares? They're borderline second round picks.
No, I'm
saying Lamar.
I would say do the deal, but see if you could try to pull a little bit more, you know?
Yeah. All right.
The record does it for
me. Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't want to do it, if he doesn't want to give you anything more, says fuck it, it's 3 or out, then yeah, you probably just pull the trigger and then you win a championship.
Yeah.
And then and next year, if his team's good enough to be undefeated right now, plus he has Goff Mayfield, he's probably going to be good enough to make another run next year and maybe another year after that with Lamar, the way Lamar's playing. So this is a long-term investment. And really with Superflex Dynasty, you care about those quarterbacks. You're pretty damn good at quarterback right now.
Yeah, you are.
So I don't know. I'm making a deal.
So am I. I will just say for the viewers on YouTube, which by the way, you can hit the like button. We appreciate that. Helps us out immensely. Takes you 2 seconds. You could subscribe to the show. We're going to start to work from the bottom here of these questions. So if you're still here and if you fired a question there, fire it back in. We will answer it. Just trying to make sure we're staying current here. Also, as always, if you send in a super chat, you cut the line. We'll answer you. We will stop the press right after a question. We'll answer you. So with that being said, let's go to Mr. Don Oliver. Who we got this week, men? Tucker Kraft or Mark Andrews? He's got Reed already. So Mark Andrews is start of the year slow. Everybody was doing their Isaiah Likely victory laps, but not so fast, my friends. Mark Andrews has 2 touchdowns last week. Looks like he's getting ready to take off. So, Anthony, I'll go to you. What are we doing here? Are we doing Tucker Kraft or are we doing Mark Andrews this week? And he's got Reed already.
Listen, I like Kraft. I like the matchup, but Mark Andrews is starting to heat up. And I think that he's going to be the way I go. I don't know if I can sit Mark Andrews right now. He's getting targeted in the red area. And Lamar as a thrower, like this might be the best version of Lamar Jackson. I get like it was supposed to click last year and he won MVP last year in the Monken offense, but he's at a next level throwing the football right now. And this matchup against Cleveland on paper, it's tough. Before I make my final decision, I want to see how Mark Andrew fares because obviously these two teams play each other a lot. Let me pull this up and see historicals. So Mark Andrews, we are at well over 10 PPR points a game average in these matchups. Like he has gone absolutely ballistic in some of these matchups. 582 touchdowns, 693 and 2, 558 and 2, 11, 115 and 1, 578. Like I'm going Andrews here. He normally kicks Cleveland's ass.
Good times. I would do the same.
I agree. Andrews is getting back in shape. We saw him dust freaking Jordan Whitehead for that nice little route, and Whitehead just was nowhere to be found. So he's still got it. I believe he's like the leader in ass, that metric that's been hot out there this year. So yeah, he's still legit.
I'm sorry. What's that metric now?
Ass, average separation score.
That was invented at the Blue Oyster Bar.
Yeah,
Some
so
pervert put that up.
He's got a big.
You got to bring up that music. Where's that music now, Anthony?
But
and never had the Blue Oyster music.
What?
No, we did.
Yeah,
we've had it forever, dude.
No,
you downloaded it, guy.
He needs the insure. He needs the
What's
insure.
wrong with? Yeah, you need the insure. You're getting old. All right.
All right. Let me finish my answer.
Go ahead.
Tucker Kraft, was a beautiful player when there was a bunch of injuries, but now that kind of all the receivers are back, it's kind of hard to bet on him a little bit more. So Andrews is the play.
Alicia comes in with a question. I confidently say that because now I've got it down to a science. Also because I cheated and I took a screenshot of it, so I'll never forget it ever again. But Pete, she's asking Montgomery versus Tennessee or Williams versus Carolina. What says you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I would never really advocate for benching David Montgomery. So I'm not really in the business of doing that. I've pounded the table for him. And obviously, look, I might sound like a homer take because I am a Broncos fan. But I would go Javonte just because, I mean, the Broncos from a run block win rate standpoint, they're in the top 5 in the NFL right now. This is the worst defense when it comes to defending the running back position, especially when it comes to points against in fantasy. We talked about it last week, me and Anthony, but I mean, they've had multiple running backs on teams score 10 plus fantasy points, and like 4 or 5 have scored 20 plus. So I would go with Javonte. I mean, especially if you're an owner and you've had him on your team for this long, like he's got 2 tough matchups the next few weeks. Like I don't know. I can't in good faith sit him when, I mean, David Montgomery does play Jacksonville, so it is a good matchup, but he was banged up last week and he is splitting more time than Javonte. So I'm just going to go with Javonte here. And maybe it's a homer take, but the matchup is just too good. So
Lions get the Titans, but that's that they're favored by they're favored by 11, so that's a good game script for them as well. I mean, go ahead, somebody else answer. I was going to say Javonte. The matchup's just too beautiful. I mean, I hate sitting Montgomery. Like it's crazy to think, but like Javonte should smash this week. The Panthers defense is just so horrible. It's just terrible. It's pathetic.
And I think Denver's favored by 10, and they might be 10 now. I mean, no Deontay Johnson, no Adam Thielen, and now Bryce Young starting too.
10.5 now. Yeah.
Listen, if there's I'm with you on Javonte. I think the Denver guys that I like for anybody. I like Franklin. I think you can start Knicks and obviously the Denver defense, but obviously Javonte Williams is in line to possibly outdo what he did last week, and he gave us over 26 PPR points. I mean, he could realistically go for another 2 touchdowns. I might actually bet that prop. I'll definitely take him for 1, but his 2 touchdowns against Carolina, what they are letting up to running backs right now.
All right.
You know, is
So-
there a world where maybe Estime gets in, like a last touchdown score if you really want to get freaky? Garbage time for Estime?
Let's get freaky, yeah.
Yeah.
13 touchdowns allowed by the Panthers. That's 4 more than anybody else.
Yep.
All right. So TV underscore drippy chic ish in a way, kind of sort of in a way. I'm just gonna all right. I'm gonna start to pitch these questions to one person. If anybody has if anybody vehemently disagrees with the other person, feel free to chime the hell in. But Kyler Murray or Kirk Cousins, I have Drake London and Trey McBride. Which stack should I go with? Anthony, I'm gonna go to you on this one, buddy. Unless you don't wanna. Mid-face. Do you not like that? Does that
That's
not
an
work?
easy one.
This is easily Cousins in London for me.
All right. Good times. All right. There you go. We go here. Oh, Bang Bang Niner Gang. What's up, man? JMW85. Worried about the late T. Higgins injury news. May just run Jamar Chase and DJ Moore and Waddle this week. Seems every time Higgins has news like this, he starts, then he goes out there for 1 or 2 plays. Steve, I'll go to you on this one. What's your level of concern here, T. Higgins? And really, this is kind of like a late injury week news. Does this make you want to sit a player because you're afraid to run the risk?
Yeah, there's a quad injury now. Just popped up today. So yeah, T. Higgins, he's just one of those guys always kind of struggling with something. It seems like he just can never just fully stay consistently on the field with Burrow. So yeah, at this point, I think you pivot to Waddle. If they say he's gonna go, and everything's good, it was just like a minor thing, precaution, then I'd probably roll Higgins out there. But there's a good chance he may not show up on Sunday night, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. We got TTV underscore drippy skisha back again. This one, Pete, I'm gonna go to you on this one. We just talked about T. Higgins, but I'll give this one to you. T. Higgins or Devontae Adams in my flex, full point per reception. What says you, kind sir?
Yeah, I mean, T. Higgins is my wide receiver 15 on the week. Devontae Adams, I'm trying to see where I have him at 13, and that was before the injury. So yeah, I would go Devontae Adams this week. I mean, it's do or die for this Jets team, and this is probably a game where they're not licking their chops, because at this point they haven't done enough to be licking their chops against anybody this year. But this New England defense just got ran through by the Jags, so I would start Adams this week.
Jamie, you're not invisible, buddy. Send your question, and I will cherry pick it out of the bunch. Guaranteed. Jared comes in here. Hey guys, here's to the best fantasy football guys. Appreciate that. I have ETN in my flex. He is a game time decision. Don't trust him. PPR flex. Bateman, Madison, Pop Douglas, Wandell, or off of waivers, he's got Pearsall, Watson, Judy. Anthony, I'll kick this one to you.
If ETN doesn't go, and I understand why you wouldn't trust him, I think I would actually lean Rashad Bateman against Cleveland. He has a hot hand right now. My pivot, I guess, would be Ricky Pearsall, assuming Jennings is down.
And it sounds like John Lynch did speak to KMBR today. It sounds like Jennings is pretty much out. It sounds like that's like a done deal. He pretty much confirmed it, and then practice game, and Jennings wasn't even out there. So there you go.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, he's going to be out. Uncle Jamie comes in. Steve, I'll go to you on this one. I'm giving you a dog shit question. Start Foster Moreau or Damian Pierce. It's a 32 team league, so it's ugly. So this makes sense, this question. But Steve, that's why you're here, buddy. So the shit question.
Yeah, our boy Jamie. I was throwing that receiver that was going to possibly start for the Titans. Jaquan, is his name Jaquan Jackson? And I was asking Jamie who the hell he was last night, because I never even heard of him. So Jamie is very knowledgeable. I'm sure he'll make the right decision here. But Dameon Pierce, last game, 2 carries for 2 yards. The game before that, he had a nice little game, 8 for 76 and a touchdown. Fucking, this is a tough one. I'll just say Foster Moreau because
I would probably go Foster Moreau myself. I would say that to help you through the muck.
I'll go with Foster Moreau here. Who knows what Pierce is going to do? I have no freaking clue. Maybe he gets another 2 carries for 2 yards. Maybe Foster Moreau catches 3-4 balls for 40 yards and falls into the end zone. So I think there's a better chance for that.
Yeah, I will just remind folks, by the way, we have a ton of questions coming in. If you really need your question answered, feel free to send in a super chat. You'll cut the whole line. I'm just kind of cherry picking some of these out, but I noticed Tyler's been in here a bit, so I want to do right by him and pull this up. He says, Dell, Bateman, or Ricky Pearsall. Now, I mean, Steve, you weren't on this show, but Anthony and Pete, remember we had that discussion about who's the guy to play, Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall. Well, now we're staring down the barrel of, like we just mentioned, no Jawan Jennings is more than likely to be the case. So, you know what, whatever, because we did the show on it. You both can comment. I don't care. But Pete, I'll go to you first. Tank Dell, Rashad Bateman, or Ricky Pearsall, or Enrique Palazzo, as Steve once said over the summer.
Yeah, it's tough with Tank Dell right now. He gets such a good matchup against the Colts. Man, I really want to say Tank Dell. Do we have news? Is Zay Flowers?
Yeah, he returned to practice today.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he was out the last 2 days. He returned today.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say Bateman. I would go Pearsall or Dell. If George Kittle happens to be out with Jennings, I'd go Pearsall. But if Kittle plays, Mason's in, it looks like Debo's going to play. I'm going to go with Dell.
Kittle sounds like he's going to play. We'll just see how limited he is.
And I'm not saying that Pearsall can't be successful, but the Colts secondary is trash, just like the Cowboys. And I mean, they got to get him involved at some point. So I lean Dell here, and I might be wrong, but
all right. Well, then Anthony, you have something on?
It's close. Like I'm really liking Rashad Bateman, the trajectory he's on. He's over double-digit PPR points in 3 out of 4 games. Not getting a lot of volume. This is a vulnerable Cleveland secondary. Like I think he's the surprise play here. I get Dell was intriguing. He blanked last week. And I get it's a better matchup against Indy. I don't know. Something tells me to go Rashad Bateman here. I really like the way he's playing football and really the way that entire Baltimore offense is playing right now. And as we can see, that game can get blown open. They're not taking their guys out with a 21-point lead. They're continuing to score.
I would personally go Ricky Pearsall here. And people are going to say surprise, surprise, but yeah,
I go with Dell. I like Dell with Pete there.
Okay, yeah, I don't hate Dell, but
yeah.
All right. Let me see this. Somebody booed you for saying Bateman, for not going with Bateman. So there's that. So boo from Nick. You're welcome. Bateman. Okay. Sports Addict says Bateman. Everyone. Okay. Anyway.
We need a boo sound.
Pete seems very concerned. John said just traded Terry and Ferguson for Neighbors. Thoughts on that trade? We'll get to some start sits quickly. Let's Steve, go ahead, Steve. You can answer this one and then we'll get into another. I'll kick a start sit to Pete.
I think we got this yesterday. When Anthony and I were on. So I think we both kind of said we like the Terry and Ferguson side. Terry's just going to be a smash with Daniels this year. It took a little while to get going, but it's getting going now. And Ferguson's one of the best tight ends. What I said yesterday was, it depends who your tight end is now that you got rid of Ferguson. And then we're going to see inconsistencies with Neighbors with Daniel Jones. I mean, he's just inconsistent, so that's going to produce Neighbors being inconsistent. So you guys could drop your thoughts.
Yeah, I'd probably be in line with that as well. At least in terms of this year, as much as I love Neighbors and I have him, There is a bit of uncertainty what's going on at the quarterback position and what that does to Neighbors, but yeah, I'd probably go that route. If the only way I would say go the other way and take Neighbors is if you were looking at your waivers and if there's a tight end that's there that's juicy and you can stream for the rest of the year, then I would do that. But outside of that, then yeah, I would probably be with you, Steve.
Yeah, I'm on the same side as you guys.
So, all right, let's see. He did come back and say he's got Otten and Hawkinson at tight end. Then I would make that trade then. If it were me, that would do it. Then I would make the trade.
Yeah, it doesn't look as bad since you have those tight ends, but I still think maybe he gave up a little bit too much. Maybe he could have got a little bit something else, but whatever, it is what it is. I mean, Neighbors could definitely be better than McLaurin. McLaurin could be better than Neighbors. It's going to be close.
No, yeah, I just laughed at a comment, which William Stevenson, we'll get to next, buddy. Pete, I'm gonna kick this one to you, buddy. Nick Walker comes in, says after he booed you, he did come in, so maybe you can bend the fences here.
I don't know if he wants my answer.
Well, we'll find out. He's gonna fucking get it right now. He's starting 3 wide receivers from these options: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jaden Reed, Devonta Smith, Tank Dell, Chris Olave, and Jalen Waddle. So he needs 3 of those.
Yeah, I would go with St. Brown. I can't sit Jaden Reed. He's just been too good. He's my wide receiver 8 this week against Jacksonville. And then honestly, I'm gonna go with Devonta Smith. Some might say Waddle, but I know Devonta Smith blanked last week, but they made it a point. Like Jalen didn't throw much either, and something has me feeling like they're going to make it a point to feed him because of his game last week. So I'll go Devonta. I think he ends up being. I think AJ gets a lot of attention. So I'd go with those 3.
Perfect. I will say, and by the way, I agree with you, but I'll also say, if you're in here watching, we have a bunch of you in the YouTube watching, feel free to hit the like button. And again, if you want to cut the line, you can send in a super chat. Anthony, I'm going to kick this one to you. William Stevenson says, graphic warning, Christian Watson or Josh Downs.
No, this is easily Christian Watson for me. I get he's dealing with the injury, but they're saying he's in the clear with no injury designation, so that's positive. And this is a great matchup against Jacksonville, 29th against wide receivers. I like Christian Watson. He's a big play waiting to happen. I think we see something from him this week.
Yeah, all right, absolutely. And Pete, you're getting some love here. Said, yeah, Pete, go Birds. And Nick went from booing you to say, thank guys. Thank you. So there you go. You're good now, buddy. Steve,
appreciate it.
This question goes from you. Keaton asks, Mostert, Worthy, Madison, or Jalen McMillan at flex this week. And I believe it was you, Steve, earlier on when we were talking about McMillan. You said, who knows, we could see another Tampa Bay wide receiver. Would that scare you away from McMillan?
I mean, comparing to these options, maybe not. Worthy's been really inconsistent. Mostert, he's splitting with Achane. Jalen Wright's getting into the mix there. Madison's been pretty solid, but I mean, he's a little underwhelming here against the Chiefs. That's not a great one. So I got to go with, McMillan. He's got to step up this week. He's got to play big. He hasn't been playing that great in certain spots that he's shown, but this is it. He's going to get all the opportunities this week with Trey Palmer, with Sterling Shepard. Let's go with McMillan. They're going to have to pass a ton. I think the Falcons, we saw Kirk Cousins throw for 500 that Thursday night game a few weeks ago against the Bucs, and I think the Falcons again are going to torch them. So Baker's going to have to sling it, and McMillan hopefully is the beneficiary of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you missed a couple questions after Will skipped over Mark and Ross here in between.
I missed all of them.
Okay, I'll grab some of them here. Mark said, I have DK, DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson in London. Should I try to move off 2 of them for a better receiver? I mean, it's hard to get much better than that. I don't know how the size of your league. I mean, DK's hurt right now, so if you moved him, you're not getting the value that you should for him. I would think we're all probably in agreement. You don't have to. You might be able to package like DJ Moore and Garrett for, a top tier guy, like maybe a CeeDee Lamb. Honestly, like I don't think it's out of the question to get a deal like that done, but I think you're in good shape. I don't think you need to tier up. All these guys have wide receiver 1 potential in any given week. So
yeah, I would pretty much agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think you need to make any drastic move to continue winning. If you're in good shape now, I don't know what you could potentially get for an upgrade.
Yeah. Steve, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think you drive yourself crazy when you start trying to think about all these trades you can make. But I mean, yeah, you try to get as prepared as possible to give that championship run. But yeah, you look pretty solid there, man. So
plus, if you give up 2 potential injury away from needing one of those guys.
good point.
I agree. And they all have, like I said, they all have upside to be the wide receiver 1 on any given week. So like you're not lacking that there either. And they've all been consistent. Garrett Wilson's wide receiver 5 all of a sudden. It's funny how Garrett Wilson
Really?
I mean, I could have read it wrong.
His targets jumped up quite a bit, so I
Yeah.
actually wouldn't fall out of my chair if that's true.
Pretty sure Brees is top 5 right now too, which
Yeah.
is insane how much people were freaking out about both of them a few weeks ago. But things change quick.
Yeah, because all of a sudden he had like 2 or 3 weeks where he was like peppered.
Well, what if you could move DJ Moore and DK to get Jefferson? Is that something you would do? Or
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
something like that makes sense.
I'm not moving London or Wilson. The other 2 I'm fine with. If you're getting a Chase, Jefferson, or Lamb.
Okay.
Yeah. Ross, thanks for waiting. He said trade Reed and Dobbins for Amon-Ra St. Brown and half PPR. I would be okay with this. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if the gap between Reed and St. Brown is big enough to give up Dobbins unless you're really secure at that spot at running back. And he's like your RB3 or 4, because given where he was drafted this year, he might be your RB3 or 4 or even 5. But I don't think you need to do this unless he's disposable to you. I don't know how you guys feel, but
this is where we say context is key. So, Pete, to go to your point, saying it depends on what you have at the back end after making that deal to make it make sense. But just on the surface, without knowing those details, I would not do the deal. I mean, Dobbins, to me, is going to have some good games. He's going to be inconsistent, but I still think that that's a little too much as far as the gap, like Pete said, between Amon-Ra and Reed to be doing that deal. So that's where I'd go with there.
I think it's a good trade, but I think Ross's biggest worry is my biggest worry is Amon-Ra St. Brown's playoff schedule. That's what I'm more worried about than moving off of Reed and Dobbins. Yeah. His playoff schedule, Buffalo, Chicago, San Francisco, and all 3 of these teams you can run on, and Detroit's a running team, so they might be like, all right, we're just going to run it down their throats. And we've seen Amon-Ra St. Brown put up some, against Dallas. They ran down Dallas's throats. Amon-Ra 13 PPR points. We can see
for what
those
it's worth.
games.
I mean, Jaden and St. Brown are pretty much neck and neck. They're right next to each other for their points scored on the year. Jaden does have a better schedule. I mean, he plays the Saints in week 16, who are probably going to be laying down. They got nothing to play for. And Minnesota, he gets week 17, who right now is actually the worst when it comes to points given up to wide receivers. So, yeah. Keaton Quach, that's a mouthful, said Mostert. Oh, we already got this. That was in between. I was just that off. Yeah. Hoff jumped to that one. That was why. All right, let's drop down here. Andres said 12-man PPR, Lamar, Gibbs, K9, Amon-Ra, Jettas, Ertz, pick 1, flex, Pickens, Marv, Irving, or Lazard.
Yeah, my dog's going nuts.
Okay. All right. So it's just me and Steve now. Steve, who you flex? Oh, there's Hoff.
It's like the freaking Brady Bunch. Everybody's popping up, looking up, looking down.
Who are you taking?
What does he need? Just one flex here?
Yeah, just one. And it's out of the last guys that he brought up.
Oh, okay. Pickens. Yeah, I'm going Pickens there. Easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pickens too.
Yeah, I would go Pickens. I'm gonna ride that hot hand. I like a lot what I saw on Sunday night there. So yeah.
Yeah. Livewire said, I have McBride. Should I a lot of trade questions, guys? I guess we're getting to that point where guys are it's make
trade
or break,
deadlines are
or
approaching.
yeah.
Yeah. Tis the season.
He said, I have McBride. Should I trade Dell and Olave for Mixon? I don't know what McBride has to do with the two of them. But so Dell and Olave for Mixon. I mean, he said he has Mason, CMC. Okay, so he's got that, and you have Dobbins, Ramondre. He's got London, DK, Puka. As I actually think it's a good deal. I would take Mixon. I would do that.
If you can get Mixon right now with the way he's playing, and I know he had the injury scare, and we thought it was going to be a lot worse with the hip drop tackle. You say what you want if it was or not. But the way Mixon's playing when he's out there, like, good God, he looks years younger.
Yeah.
So
I swear there was a time where Mixon was like running with a dump in his pants, and then he seemed to really turn it back up to juice.
Well, he dumped that dump out of his pants, and he's
fell out.
Now.
He got some Sicilian husk, and everything started flowing out.
And not to mention, like he said, he has CMC too. Like, so if you think about that, you make that trade. Then there's the bye week. Then you're coming down the playoff stretch with CMC and the way Mixon's going. I mean, you've cornered the market on running back as far as I'll go.
Do you think that's? I mean, I know I like Mixon to get him, but do you think that's a fair trade, trading those two receivers to get Mixon, or do you think he's asking more?
I think he's actually getting a steal. I mean,
given
where Olave and Dell have been, Dell has no Nico Collins, and Nico's coming back, and then Olave, he'll get better. This is a low for Olave, but I mean, given his running backs, like, I like J.K. Dobbins, but like, if you can have a third, Mixon could be your RB2 in that situation, and Dobbins could be your flex. I think that's a better situation than having to start Dobbins, especially if it's PPR, because he doesn't catch a lot of passes. So I think he's getting a steal, to be honest. Would you do it, Steve?
Yeah, I would probably do it. I think Dell and Olave, there's a lot of season left. I think both will get better as well. So I'm just thinking, is it fair? Because you're giving that 2-for-1. But yeah, Mixon, he looks great. Certainly he maybe gets banged up. He's already got banged up once this year. But yeah, I think I would do it too. If you have three good receivers now that Puka is back in town.
Yeah. He's got a pretty decent schedule too. I mean, the first week of the playoffs, he gets a bye before it. So he gets fresh legs. He gets to come back and play Miami, who's 26 against running backs. And before the bye, he gets Jacksonville, who's 27th, and he still gets Dallas on the schedule. He does get Kansas City in week 16, but I don't know what Dobbins' schedule looks like, but you could probably slot Dobbins in there if you really felt like you had to. But he's been pretty good historically against Kansas City. Chaka coming in here said, yesterday I traded Devonta Smith, Deontay, and Hunt for Puka, Olave, Njoku, PPR redraft, W or L. I have Cup, so I was thinking if Cup got traded, Puka would be top 5, but looking like he won't get dealt.
I love that picture, man. That thing is sweet.
That is an interesting picture. Well, it doesn't sound like Cup is going to get moved now, at least, well, if you want to trust Sean McVay. I mean, Sean McVay was also the guy who told us Todd Gurley was fine. I'm still okay with this deal. I mean, I especially love fucking David Njoku this week in particular. I love him rest of the season.
Now you love Njoku. Okay.
Well, why do I always hate him?
Yeah. Well, Watson was the question because you hate Watson. So that was the real reason. You hate Watson.
No, it's not. It's not because I hate. No.
But that didn't make any sense. That logic you were coming with, though.
Okay.
So he is very biased against Watson.
If you believe that, so what I'm thinking is your bias against Watson was preventing you from liking Njoku.
No. All
right. So Watson, what I'll say is, last thing I'll say is,
okay, cool.
He had like 4 or 5 catches before Watson got hurt yesterday. So Njoku was hurt most of the year. So if he would have played healthy with Watson, he would have been fine regardless. Is what I'm saying.
Cool. Well, we can live in the land of hypotheticals, but I'll live in the history of Deshaun Watson simply does not target tight ends.
Yeah, but he had a bunch of shitty. He had a bunch of shitty tight ends.
Okay, so we can go through this, but this is
not a big discussion. But I'm just saying, like,
it's not. I'm just saying no. But I'm saying here's my whole bit is I think Deshaun Watson's a fucking scumbag, but I could separate the fact that he's a scumbag and the fact that he doesn't always target tight ends. I could separate those two worlds and live in that logic. So, I mean, what? Njoku had 13, 14 targets last week, and I think 4 or 5 of them came when Watson was still in the game. All the rest came when he was out. When Watson went out last year, Njoku's target share jumped up by 5%. So if I no longer have Watson in there, and now I'm going to live in a world where the tight end's going to be targeted, then yeah, I love David Njoku, especially after the Amari Cooper trade. So I don't even need to. I don't even need to add the whole Deshaun Watson being a scumbag. That's irrelevant to me. It's
what I'm saying is, after the Cooper trade, you wouldn't have liked Njoku even with Watson there.
Yeah, true. Because Deshaun Watson does not target his tight ends. He doesn't. And
he hit him like 5 targets before he got hurt.
Okay.
So.
All right. So then what could
he was out a month. I mean, Njoku was out a month basically with a high ankle. So,
well, okay.
I'm just saying.
All right. I mean, Njoku would have been on the cover of Madden if Deshaun Watson was healthy the rest of the year.
No, I'm not.
To be fair, I am with Steve here.
Fuck you, Pete.
I am with Steve here. To answer Chaka's question, I mean,
how hard is it to throw to a fucking tight end? Fucking,
you got to ask Deshaun Watson.
I could throw to a fucking tight end.
To be fair, Dallas, that when Njoku got hurt against Dallas, he had 5 targets. Jordan Akins, the backup, rest of the game had 4 targets. So Deshaun Watson targeted tight ends 9 times in week 1 against Dallas.
I don't see the production coming, but whatever.
They combined for like 15 PPR points.
I think we're all in agreement that Njoku is looking pretty nice the rest of the year.
Either way, I think it's a good trade. Look, I think you got upgrades both sides. Puka's an upgrade over Devonta Smith. Deontay's getting Bryce Young now, and his value goes down. So Olave should be an upgrade, if not a wash. And then you get Njoku. You're giving up Hunt. Clearly, you're good at running back if you're trading Hunt and you're not mentioning him. And I think Njoku, you probably needed a tight end, so he was definitely a solid buy. Hoff might not love him, but I think we all can agree he's still a good value going forward. He might not be
I love him now
5, but he's a good value going forward.
By the way,
are we going to get Jameis or DTR this week? Does anybody know?
We're getting Jameis.
Jameis.
I will just say, for programming purposes, if you go into our archives, I did the tight end start sit, and Njoku is one of my starts this week because I also love the matchup. So
there you go. Rohit Srikanth said, trade Hopkins and Dobbins for a wide receiver or keep Hopkins. I don't know who to trade for either. This is a tough question to answer.
This is one of those context is key sort of things. I mean, if you come back with some of the options that you have available to you,
yeah, all good. Dell and Olave for Mixon. I have Puka. I think you already asked.
We already answered that.
Yeah, I think we all kind of think that's a good deal. You're getting Mixon there. Ross also said RBs or Saquon. I think that was just more context from before. Jared said, is Madison a good RB2 going forward in PPR? I don't want him to be my second running back. I think he could finish as a low end RB2 from here rest of the season, but if he's your RB2, you got issues, in my opinion.
Same.
Yeah, you don't want him as your RB2.
Right.
No. I'm struggling to get him in my lineups most weeks, so
bingo. Yeah,
that's basically what you have to be looking at.
He's getting volume now. That's the only positive. But, as far as using him against KC this week, I don't love it. But, this past 2 games, he's had 19 and 26 touches. And last week with Zamir back. Yeah, so I don't love him as an RB2, but I don't, it's playoffs. It's 16 to 17 week. Jacksonville, New Orleans. So, they could be potential nice spots for him. It's just, what is the state of this Raiders team?
Yeah, I mean, they at that point they might, later on in the season, they may give Zamir more touches. He's the younger guy, and if they're out of it, but I feel like at this point they've had all the chances in the world to give Zamir the job, and they showed us how they feel about him. So, Eric came in and said, "Can't believe I'm asking this, but Bo Nix or Tua this week." I'll let one of you guys answer this. I don't want to be biased, but I'll let one of you guys go.
I'll say this again for the self-promotion of our brand. I have the quarterback start sit, and even while Bo Nix was a start for me, because I do like the matchup going up against Carolina, I'm going right back to Tua though. I mean, Tua's there. We've seen what Tua does when he's healthy. I imagine everybody else, we're going to hold our breath collectively whenever Tua drops back, but that concussion stuff aside, which I know is a big variable, if he's out there, the fantasy production will follow. So I will go with Tua over Knicks, even though I know Knicks does have a nice matchup.
You guys,
Anthony or Steve, whoever.
Yeah, I would just say like it's tough. Tua should bounce back here. First game back, all the energy is up. They're gonna want to get a W here with Tua back, Hill and Waddle. He did struggle a little bit before he even got hurt, though. I mean, the first game against Jacksonville didn't look great. The Bills dominated him as well. But the thing you could say about Knicks is the matchup is incredible, but he may not have to do much. Like they could just be like up like 24-0 at halftime. They just run the ball 10,000 times. But I kind of prefer Knicks. I think just because the rushing upside, like he may run for 40, 50 yards here and a touchdown and throw one or two. So I'm going to go with Knicks slightly, but they're both look pretty good to me this week.
I like Tua myself. He has the higher ceiling, and I think at this point, Miami's their backs up against a wall, and they might want to just kind of show out this offense. Like this offense has been bottled up for since week one, really, and even week one, like Steve said, they didn't play well. This has to be a game where everything clicks, and if everything's clicking, Tua is going to be a big part of it. And Arizona's set. Like I get Arizona, they minimize the Chargers and all of their weapons. Like, give me a break. That defense is not good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point though about the game script getting away.
I mean, Herbert threw for 350. They just couldn't get in the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Love threw for 4 touchdowns the week before, but Jordan Love kind of does it almost every week. But anyway,
I think when we talk upside, I mean, keep in mind, Knicks had 24 and 25 in 2 out of the last 3 weeks. He's also had 3 rushing touchdowns. He's gone over 47 yards 3 times. He's had rushing. He had 61 2 weeks ago, 75 this week. I know game script is a worry, but it is at home. And this is kind of one of those games where I feel like maybe Peyton tries to open it up with him a little bit as well. Cortland Sutton didn't get a single target last week. So I just feel like, that Troy Franklin, Sutton, like they may make it a point to try to get this passing game going. And I don't know. I just think on the ground too, like we saw a lot of designated runs for Knicks last week. And I think we're going to see more of that. And so, to Steve's point, Tua didn't look great and there could be rust. Like I think the offense is going to look a lot better, but there could be some rust there too. So I know it sounds homerish, but I'd go Knicks just because the floor is high and I think their ceilings are kind of close, but Knicks is a little sketchier on his ceiling because they could be blowing them out and then he's kind of done for the day. But like Jaden Daniels was running all over them on the first drive, and now he's not Jaden Daniels. But my point is, I think they're gonna use him as a weapon with his legs. We do have some super chats here.
Yeah,
I was
gonna suggest before you read those super chats. So I was just gonna suggest to everybody, we have a lot of people in here. If you could feel free to hit the like button, it would help us out immensely. It takes you guys 2 seconds, but yes, we do have 2 super chats. So Pete, take it away.
I'll grab those. Before I grab them, I do want to say, since we're at a good point in the show, we have 30 people here on YouTube. We got a bunch of people on X. We got a couple people on Facebook. I just want to show this. We showed it the other day, but we are we're working with a new partner here, Rainy Ballers. We're going to get a promo code to get these on either our website or get a link to their website, but you'll be able to get a face-off helmet. We might do some giveaways, and as well on top of that, we also might we probably will have a promo code for, if you won your fantasy league, you can get helmets like this. It doesn't have to say face off. It could just be something to do with your fantasy league. You could probably even get a custom logo for your fantasy league if you guys already have one. So more to come on that. I just wanted to do it because when we talked about it, I came on, I think yesterday, there wasn't a lot of people in here yet. So just wanted to show that off because, it came out really nice. So
looks sharp. Yeah. Good work.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. Craig Dubs said, I'm torn. Do I go Dak or Geno this week? both not great. Free agent quarterbacks are Russ, Lawrence, May, Winston, Herbert. If any of those guys jump out at you, $5 super. We appreciate you, Craig. We'll dig into this a little deeper for you since you were so generous. But who wants to take this one first?
I would say of the available free agents, just if he did want to go outside of what he already has, Jameis Winston would be a guy that would come out, would kind of jump out to me if you went outside, but I don't think you need to. I would personally go with the fact that, and I know that there's DK is doubtful, but I would still go Geno Smith, and I say that because of the pass attempts on a per game basis that the Seahawks have. I would buy into that, continuing to throw the ball at will. So that's the only reason why I would go with that. If they weren't throwing the ball nearly as much, I'd probably lean Dak here because I do think Dak can still do some damage. I mean, they're playing the Niners, and yes, they're limited defensively, but the Niners, like the Cowboys are limited, but so are the Niners. So Dak is still going to make some plays here. This isn't going to be last year when they were blown out. That's not going to be the case here. So I would go Geno slightly over Dak. If you felt uncomfortable with either, the free agent guy I would go with would be Jameis Winston. Anthony, what do you got, man?
If I was to go with a free agent, it would be Russell Wilson against the Giants. I like Russ a lot this week.
That's a good play, too.
I don't trust Dak Prescott against the 49ers. Earlier in his career, he had some nice matchups in his first three. His past two is 16.5 and 11.9. I just think that maybe it's a mental thing for Dak in this matchup. I get that they could be shorthanded offensively. Their defense still has Bosa and a nice pass rush, and that Dallas offensive line still has 2 rookies on it. And then this game script for Buffalo, they don't stop the run. I think this is a monster game for Kenneth Walker, and this could limit Geno Smith. I might just go Russ here.
Okay.
I was gonna. I'll Steve. Do you want to go? Because I have a decent strategy, at least forgetting about the quarterback. But there's a strategy I would use here. But why don't you go first, Steve, and then I'll wrap it up.
I was just gonna say before Steve goes, but the only thing I was gonna say was Russ was the next guy after Jameis for me. So I'm kind of in line with you, Anthony, with your thinking. But go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, the only thing worries me about Russ is Giants have a pretty good pass rush, so I want to see how Russ kind of adjusts to that. I would say Herbert's matchup isn't bad. The Saints are they're a dumpster fire right now. Mayfield 300 yards, Mahomes 300 yards, Jalen Hurts 300 yards, Dak threw almost 300 yards. But I think I would still go Dak, 47 total. I think he's the guy you roll with. He's your quarterback. But if you wanted to pivot, I'd pivot to Herbert.
Yeah, my advice would be this. Every single the 2 quarterbacks that you have are Geno and Dak. Dak plays on Sunday night, Geno plays at 4:00. See where you are in your matchup. Okay. And at that point, when 4:00 starts to roll around, if you're chasing points, you're chasing upside. My advice would be to go Russell Wilson, because he plays on Monday night. So you'll have time to, you might even be able to wait until 8:00 and pick between Geno and Russ on Sunday night and sit there. And I don't think Russ is a bad pivot.
Dak's a Sunday night game.
Dak's a Sunday night. Sorry, Geno. I think Dak is fine. They get extended rest. I know this 49ers defense is solid, but like at that point, you might even be comfortable waiting until, I would see where you are at 4:00. If you're okay and you're like, I think I'm okay, let me wait. You can wait until 8. And then at that point, if you're chasing points, I would go pick Russ up. If you don't need to chase points, I would start Dak at that point.
I dig it.
Jonathan Santiago, what's up, man? He said full PPR, $5 super in here. He said full PPR, bench 1, B-Rob, Dobbins, Javonte, full PPR, start 3, Adams, Wilson, JSN, Worthy, Pearsall, and finally Tillman or McMillan is the second half of the question. Let's address the first half of the question, which is the running backs. Bench 1, Dobbins, Javonte, or B-Rob.
Oh God. All right. I'm gonna go B-Rob. I'm gonna say I'm playing B-Rob. He's only benching one of these guys. So I'm going to go B-Rob, and I would play Javonte Williams because of the matchup. I mean, you guys talked about it earlier about the game potentially getting away where Bo Nix doesn't get as much production. I think that bodes well for Javonte, and we finally saw – I mean, we've seen signs of life from him, but we really saw a good game recently. So I think, I think that's where I would roll. I think Dobbins would be the odd man out for me. Anthony?
That's a tough one. Go ahead, Ant.
I'm kind of leaning J.K. Dobbins here too because I like that spot for him last week, and
You're
that
benching,
offense
you're benching Dobbins or you're starting him?
benching him for
Okay.
B-Rob and Javonte.
Yep.
I'm benching B-Rob. I love B-Rob, but Dobbins is my running back 8 this week. The Saints just gave Javonte a career day. I mean, and
Dennis Allen, I think he's fucking.
And if you're worried about game script, like, I mean, they're gonna. I mean, that leans into Dobbins even more. They'll run the ball. I think Dobbins has a good day. And in Chicago, the Bears have a decent run defense too.
The thing is, I should have liked Javonte more last week because what happened prior to that, Tucker goes for $136, Bucky Irvin goes for 81 against the Saints.
Yep.
So I think Dobbins, this is going to be an excellent game script. I think B-Rob too against the Bears. I love B-Rob more than anybody, but you got possibly Mariota.
Yeah.
If Jaden Daniels, it helps. If Jaden Daniels is out there, that helps a little bit. But yeah, Javonte's got a great. It's just this is the one week you sit B-Rob. I think. Yeah.
I don't know. I might be with you guys there. I'm just jaded on Dobbins right now, and I'm a Dobbins guy.
I actually think
this is a good
go with you guys too. Actually, I think I've been talked off of. I mean, I'm playing Javonte. I'm playing him. So yeah, I think B-Rob would sit. Actually, good talk, guys.
Well, we'll answer the next part of these questions. We have one super from Jamie. Also, Roarg will get to you in a second. Rohit, sorry. Let's answer this. The rest of this, it says Adams, Wilson, JSN, Worthy, Pearsall. So he's got to start 3. I'll start off the bat here. I'm gonna start Wilson over Adams just because I've seen it. And it's tough not to start Adams. I like him this week, but Wilson's just getting so many targets. I know the relationship's there. So I'd probably start Wilson. Honestly, I'd probably start Adams, Wilson, and Ricky Pearsall. I think I honestly, I think that's where I would lean. I'd start both Jets receivers in this matchup. It's a good matchup. And I don't love JSN in this matchup, to be completely honest with you. And Worthy's too boomer bust. So I'd go Pearsall and I'd start both Jets wide receivers and just let it rip.
Shit. I mean,
I'm with you here.
I'm cool with the Adams and Wilson. I'm a little torn on the JSN and Pearsall. I was leaning Pearsall. Full point per reception, though. I could see Pearsall getting.
Yeah.
I could, you know what? Maybe I do go Pearsall here because it's PPR. I could see him not getting a slew of yards, but getting enough catches where it's kind of because like you said, the matchup is not the best for JSN. So actually, there you go. I'd go Adams, Wilson. I go Pearsall.
My third would be McMillan in that.
Well, that's a separate question.
Oh,
I think that's a third part.
Oh,
yeah.
Then I'm good with Pearsall.
Steve?
Yeah, definitely Adams, Wilson. JSN's not really doing much. Worthy, I could see catching a couple big bombs against the Raiders or getting in the end zone somehow. He's still getting in the end zone here and there. Pearsall, I mean, there's no Jennings, there's no Ayuk, so he's going to have a great opportunity this week to really step up high total. So I kind of like Pearsall. He just got to show it a little bit, but maybe I'll take the chance on him. But I kind of like Worthy this week too. And then I'd go with I'd probably go with McMillan again because the Bucs are just gonna have to pass left and right this week.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I would go with McMillan as well. I actually would say I'm kind of with Steve.
I don't mind Tillman though.
I could be talked Worthy over Pearsall just because there was another shot that Mahomes had to connect with Worthy. And at some point they got to get this guy involved more. And they might, against a shitty Raiders team, like they may make it a point. We feel like we keep saying that kind of stuff, but like with Worthy, like he had 5 steps on the defender and Mahomes sailed the ball like for 60 yards. That would have been a touchdown like last week against the Niners. And so I could be talked into Worthy if you need the pop. in my opinion.
Tillman's not a bad one against the Ravens either. I mean, that's
a separate question.
I know. I'm saying that's kind of close between him and McMillan. And we saw Tillman just go 8 for 81 and a touchdown. So I mean, that's a close one.
Yeah. I think I still lean McMillan, but Tillman has less competition around him. It's scary that nobody's saying go get Jerry Jeudy, go get Jerry. Like everyone's talking about Tillman, Njoku. Like you would think this would be a boost for Jeudy, but nobody wants him
because he's not. He's just.
I love people down. I'm with you.
No, Anthony loves Jeudy. I know.
I love Jeudy.
And you know what? For
love Jeudy too.
The Browns love Jerry Jeudy. They traded for him and gave him a contract. Like he's the future there.
A big contract too.
Deshaun Watson, Jerry Jeudy, getting all this money. Fucking holy shit. The Browns are more of a shit show than the Jets.
Jamie said hit the like button or the fantasy gods will curse you. Yes, we appreciate it. Thanks for the $2, Jamie. It anything helps, so we appreciate that. Will and Eric, they're both guys that I saw and met in person for the first time at Scott Fish Bowl. Yes, we'll have some rounds on me or Eric. Sounds like he's buying, so we'll have a couple rounds there.
I still kick myself for not making that one.
Yeah, well, maybe next year.
Or I could just take Amtrak out and just chill with you guys in general. We could just do that. We don't need SFB to do that.
We could do that too. We're backed up on questions. We have no super chats right now, but we're at the hour 10 mark. We'll give it like 10 more minutes. It's 7:25. We got a late start here today. I want to get to Rowett because he wanted to give us more context and felt like he wanted his question answered. So let's take a look. He said, I can try trading for Debo or Marvin Harrison Jr. using D-Hop and Dobbins. Those are the two possible targets. What would you think? So he's saying that he could take D-Hop and Dobbins and try to trade for Marv or Debo. Would you guys do that? I mean, and if so, which guy would you prefer?
I would prefer on selling high on somebody having a lot of optimism about DeAndre Hopkins and going with a Deebo Samuel with no Brandon Ayuk, and we're going to get Christian McCaffrey back, and we're going to go on the general hope that McCaffrey is going to come back and be healthy. If that's the case, if McCaffrey's healthy, there's no Brandon Ayuk. This opens things wide open for Deebo Samuel. Marvin Harrison, I mean, I love I love what I saw in like people always say, "Oh, go watch the college tape." Well, I don't love what I see right now. So, if that happens, I would go with D-Hop and I would take Debo.
I think if you can afford to give up Dobbins, then I think I would make that deal as well and go get.
If you could afford it, sure. Yeah.
I would rather keep your guys than get either one of those two receivers right now.
Are you that high on Hopkins, or
I'm that low on Marvin and Debo? Yeah, he's going to have some. He's been volatile this year. I get they don't have compliments, but I don't know. Like, yeah,
he does get hurt a lot.
He does. He gets dinged up. It's the same thing with.
So does Dobbins. I mean, he's been healthy this year, and D-Hop.
They all get fucking hurt. All these guys.
I know his knee. Dobbins injuries are more catastrophic, but
those are freak injuries.
I'm with you three. I mean, you two. I'd go Debo. I'd make that trade. For what it's worth, with Marv, the issue is like they are not creative with him at all. They're just sending him on streaks, and Kyler has not been great this year. And I was the biggest guy when it comes to Kyler. I had him as high. I had him the highest on our rankings, but he just doesn't look good right now. I don't know what the heck is going on with him. It's bad.
It scares me every time.
Get that guy the fuck off the screen, man.
Jesus Christ. What that happened?
Talk balls.
He said, Rowett said, thanks a lot. Jared Fortin said, DJ Moore or Debo rest of the season. Anthony, let's go to you since you seem to be the lowest on Deebo Samuel.
I want Debo Moore and attached to his Bears offense rest of the season. They have a softer passing schedule, I believe, than the 49ers.
I gotta go with Debo, man. With no Ayuk now, with the 9, I got CMC coming back. Got to go with Debo.
Something's off with the 49. I'm sorry. Like somebody said
Yeah,
earlier, something's off there. I'm just not going to buy into, they're the 49ers. Everything's going to click back into place.
It's not so much that. And the whole, the whole you idiot thing is a joke because the schedule is softer on the other end. It's not even the whole like, the 49ers are all of a sudden going to be great again. Like, it's not even that. It's just the general idea of there's no more Brandon Ayuk. And I literally just said this, and they're going to get McCaffrey back. It should help open some things up. So I think that Debo will start to do more. Listen, this isn't going to be the 49ers that we've seen the last few years, but I think we're all kind of unfortunately settling into that, but I'd still go Debo.
Yeah.
But the strength of schedule does bode well for more.
Well, no, it gets tough. They got to play the Packers, the Vikings.
I mean,
secondary stink, but then they get the Lions.
I'm still going Debo. Debo's still
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know like his schedules. Anthony's right. I mean, he gets Minnesota, Detroit, and then Minnesota, Detroit again. And for what it's worth, Minnesota's defense is good, but they've been bad against the pass. They're 32nd when it comes to points to the wide receivers right now.
That's just like, by the way,
they generate a lot of pressure though.
They do.
I mean, they
do.
And that last 2 weeks yesterday, they didn't do much. They didn't. I think that was the first game they didn't have a sack all year. The Vikings.
Yeah, and like, and like some of these numbers are weird. And Pete, like you bring that up, like how it's kind of deceptive. Like you might not know that. Like, look at what the Dolphins have given up to quarterbacks as far as fantasy points.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised. I think they're giving up the fewest points.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
So,
let's do two more and then let's get out of here. Planet Pat Defender said, "Would you trade Brian Thomas Jr. for McLaurin straight up PPR?" I'd have to look at the schedules. These guys are actually pretty close. It's hard to trade either guy. Trevor Lawrence looks really good. I don't know what the schedules look like. I don't know if any of you guys have them offhand.
I'm pulling it up right now. At least the strength of schedule the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like I don't really want to move either guy. I feel like Brian Thomas is the guy I want to hold on to more, honestly, because like he's in an offense that's gonna throw the ball more, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts? I think I keep Brian Thomas.
I agree on Brian Thomas.
No, I don't know.
That's close. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
It's just close. I mean, both these guys are going to be damn solid the rest of the year. It's very even to me. It's just tough to say, I just think you just ride out. You got try to guess on these trades. Like again, you just drive yourself crazy sometimes. Like it's not a trade that really needs to be made. I don't think. Maybe we could look at the schedule and maybe bump one guy a little bit higher or the other. But
I was gonna say I just pulled up as per Fantasy Pros at least the strength of schedule the rest of the way. The Jaguars are dead last, and just one spot in front of them is the Washington Commanders. So
interesting.
But the oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I think I'd just hang on to Brian Thomas. Honestly,
Giants, Commanders get Giants, Pittsburgh, Philly, Dallas, Tennessee, New Orleans, Philly, Atlanta, and Jacksonville. They get Green Bay, Philly, Minnesota, Detroit, Houston, Tennessee, Jets, Las Vegas, Tennessee. Yeah. I don't mind holding on to Brian Thomas. I don't think you need to make a deal. Like just stay put.
Yeah. All right, last one, and then we're out of here. Kurz, anybody else that's waiting for their questions to be answered that just sent them in, drop them in the YouTube after we are done. And Anthony does a good job at answering people, so he'll do his best to get to you by Sunday. And then
I usually like to do
live Sunday morning.
like 5 a.m. That's my YouTube answering time.
Yeah.
When Anthony's on the shitter and you're getting a notification at 5 a.m. That a comment came through, just know you can picture Anthony sitting on his toilet.
I don't do that. Everyone else do that on there. That's gross. I don't even talk about that.
5 a.m.
Gleenshinstein, hell of a name, said that was not meant for the name, the sound drop. Said McLaurin, Pearsall, or McMillan. This is close. If Jaden plays, it's McLaurin for me. If Jaden doesn't play,
Does anybody think Jaden's going to actually play, though? Like, I don't think he, like,
he practiced today, right?
I don't know. I mean, they're playing Caleb, like, I feel like, I don't know. The NFL probably wants.
They know they're going to lose with Mariota, so they're going to do everything they can to get Daniels out there this week.
I start McMillan, though.
Well, Washington was like, get him out there, will you?
If Jaden plays, Terry. If not, I start McMillan.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Okay.
Here's a nice idea, but just not related to these two guys, though. That's not. Dang.
This is more of a joke. Eric says, which one of you guys wins the facial hair competition? Maybe we could put up a poll on our YouTube channel to see who has the best facial hair. I don't think I do right now. I just shaved.
Yeah, I need to get done. If I'm
going with the Civil War look. I need to get the Civil longer, but I'm going. Yeah.
Steve has like Italian guy sitting behind a pizza.
You can also be a pirate.
He is an Italian guy.
I haven't been to I've been cutting my own hair for since the pandemic, basically. So I got to get like a fresh fucking.
There's nothing like sitting in a barber chair and getting a haircut.
Yeah, no, shave? When I shave my head, I fucking do it myself. I won't pay for that, but everything else.
Yeah, I could give myself a fade. I can give myself a fade. It's pretty easy at this point. But the beard and everything, you need that straight, the straight.
Yeah, they get the warm towel on you. You know what I mean? Like it's you got to.
I get paranoid like I get my throat slit. I like it, but I don't like it.
No, they know what they're doing.
I'm paranoid. It's just I'm paranoid.
I used to go to this Palestinian barbershop in Patterson, and they had like this fucking. They had like this thread that fucking took all your like little hairs out of your face. Like
yeah, I've seen that before.
That's like an old school thing, I guess, right?
I buzz my sides, but whenever I'm ready to let this go, I'm gonna go to my barber and he's gonna do it right. We're gonna do the whole hot towel and just kind of chillax.
All right. Well, who is doing the honors of closing us out? Hoff, kick us off.
Yeah.
Or kick
Perfect.
us out.
All right. So yeah, we'll be back on Sunday with another Q&A. But yeah, just like Pete said, though, if you did not get your question answered, if you do want it answered, feel free to fire it into this chat after the show. Anthony will get to it, albeit early, at 5 a.m. probably, or if he's sitting around, he'll get to it. We're just kidding. But he will get back to you. But join us on Sunday. We'll help you out. Until next time, stay thirsty, be kind to one another. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Cheers.